Hello, and thank you for joining us tonight, August 30th, 2022, for our evening edition of What's Up Today. Shawn Sykora and Valorie Renée here talking with you about astrology and energy in just a live, fun conversation. So we thank you for joining us here tonight on the call or in the replay. And I'm Valorie Renée, a Reiki teacher and practitioner and energy vibrational healer. And this is Shawn Sykora, astrologer, energy healer, and musician. So Shawn, what's up today?
Oh, well, we were talking about Mars and Libra before, and we're also coming up on our Mercury Retrograde starting in September. We're already in the shadow. So I have a cool graphic. So I'm going to go to screen share here. And let's see if I can do this. Yes. Anyone? So here we go. So this is on, I think it's Data is Beautiful on Reddit. So I want to give them credit. It's very awesome. This is a quick diagram. So Mercury retrograde comes up and people, they don't know that much about it. They'll say it's bad or it's whatever. Mercury retrograde. Let me see if I have here we go. So Mercury's in Libra, it's going to retrograde. And then people are always like, and Mars is over here. It's not going to quite trine it. But anyways, I thought I'd give a little thing on Mercury retrograde. First thing is our Western society, if you watch a graph, say the graph's over here, over time and money, their investors will go, oh, you're just going to make money over time. Well, life is ups and downs and sine waves. And Mercury retrograde to me is really a time to use the RE words, as one of my great teachers, Diane Rundgren, told me. Review, rewrite. Anyone in business knows you have a business plan, but you have to take time to, reassess, review, whatever. You're going to modify, add things, take away things, whatever. So it's good to stop and, it's good to stop and review stuff. Okay, here it is. Here's Reddit. Data is Beautiful. So I got that correct. So I'm going to make this big. And this is a little explanation of the apparent motion of Mercury backwards or retrograde. The reason that happens is because everything's going, whoops. Oh, there it goes. There's the sun. It's touch sensitive. The sun's in the middle and everything's going around the sun, or at least our little solar system. So from Earth's perspective, we look and the pink line is our line of view and Mercury's.
Shawn,
yes.
I'm looking at a play button window, a black screen with a play button.
Is this, you don't see it? I
had it before.
Oh, okay, let's
Oh, you know what? If you enlarge
this?
your screen and then hit play down in the bottom left.
How's
you might need
that?
to back it
better?
up.
Oh, all right. Can you see it now or?
Yes.
Oh, you can. Oh, I almost
it got
stopped
big
you.
though. I mean, it's small again.
Okay, here we go. So, as I was saying, let's see. So the easiest way to understand retrograde is if you're sitting at a stoplight and you look at the car next to you and it looks like it's rolling forward, it could be rolling forward or you could be rolling back. Or if it looks like it's rolling back, you could be rolling forward or it could be rolling back. It's all relative, relativity. So the relative point of view from Earth, our letter E here, this is our line of sight, the pink, looking at Mercury around the sun. So as Mercury comes around close to us, you'll see in the motion here, this is pretty short. So you can see how when it's close to us, it looks like it's going backwards from our point of view because it's moving faster than we are. So it looks like it's going backwards. And that's basically all Mercury retrograde is. And then where the green is, that's the retrograde time. And Mercury right now, it's like, here's the shadow. You can see where the points overlap, the width of this circle, I think that's the shadow. So Mercury's already into this part. It's approaching the green, but it's already in this part. So we call it in the shadow because it's going to backtrack those degrees because it's still covering these same degrees of this arc of Mercury, if that makes sense. So here it does it again, and it'll do it again, but you can see how when it's either very close or very far from us, it looks like it's going backwards. Or actually, it's just when it's close there, because it's on the inside. The planets Mars and out, I think it's reversed. I don't know. It's been a while since I talked about this, but just to get you the general idea. So the green is retrograde, and the rest of the loop is in the shadow. So if you look in the chat, you can see I put some dates for Mercury retrograde. A lot of times we'll use RX for retrograde, which is interesting. You know, astrology is so in our culture. If you go to the pharmacist, they used to have a big RX. Now it's all commercial naming, but they'd have an RX or they'd have the two snakes twirled around the thing. And RX is, here's your medicine, take it and repeat it. It's like shampoo, you know, rinse, repeat. It's all about repeating stuff. So Mercury retrograde, it's okay to repeat stuff and it's okay to review stuff. It's our words are our friends, not, you know how we can get so fast paced in America and just go, 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 or anywhere in the world. Go, 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 go. You need to sleep. You need to eat. You need to rest. You need to have friends. You need to meditate, go to a museum, go to a park, you know, whatever. You need some good stuff too. So squeeze that in somewhere or have a picture that you can at least look at once in a while, no matter how busy you are. So this was my little thing.
So I'm going to read that, or you can read it for
Sure.
anybody who's listening and they can't see the chat. So right now, the date and degree for Mercury retrograde.
Oh, you know, I think I can. Oh, go ahead. You can read
For
them.
fall. So in August 22nd, it begins to move into the shadow. And for those who know aspects, it's 24 Virgo in 12 degrees.
Right. And you can
Shawn?
see this here?
And then, yes. And
Okay.
then on September 10th is when Mercury moves into retrograde. That's the first
Right.
day of retrograde, and that's at 8 Libra, 55 degrees.
Right.
It will be retrograde until October 2nd. On October 2nd, Mercury will station direct at 24 Virgo and 12 degrees.
Right.
And then October, it will be in the shadow after Mercury stations direct, you know, with the lingering effects. The shadow will go until October 16th and will be out of the shadow at 8 Libra, 55 degrees.
Yeah. So to play, thank you. And you could see on the screen the dates too? Okay,
Yes.
cool. So people can note that. That's information's almost anywhere. You know, my general advice on astrology is just search the internet and find people that connect with you because we all do it different. Our charts meld, or chemistry, we used to say, whatever. So showing you those loops.
For those listening, what I just read is what's on our screen.
Right. But that was good. You read it too. So your voice is much nicer than the text. So anyways, it's there if you want to see it. And you can look it up, like I was saying, find people, astrologers that you jive with and they connect and it makes sense and all that. So my little thing is, so I was just showing you the loopies. We're done with that. So, whoops, stop screwing. Uh-oh, didn't like that. Anyways, so we're back live. So those loops, if you think of it as it's loopy, and now you got a rough idea, and you can go see it at Reddit. Data is beautiful, searching Mercury retrograde or wherever it was. And so retrograde, the negative or the part that we don't like because we're not moving forward because we're, we have a kind of a Puritan base of we must be productive, is we get loopy because it's like you have to loop back, you have to double back, or I'm loopy because I have so many things on my mind. And Mercury, it's starting in Virgo and it's going into Libra, then it retrogrades. So it's covering those two signs, which is interesting because Mars is in Libra, like we talked about, till next spring. And that's a Venus sign. We'll talk to cross-referencing maybe later in Venus retrogrades, whatever, another time. But so it's but it starts in the Virgo, which is also Mercury retrograde. So it's lots of communication. We're all, I'm just guessing, just look at my life. But, and that's another thing. Well, just look at your life. It's okay. You don't have to learn astrology. You just go, my life is crazy like this. Let's blame Mercury retrograde, or let's just understand it's a time to loop back. And again, our Puritan mindset of like, we must big progress. Well, progress is looping back sometimes and revisiting things and learning new lessons from, they're not mistakes. Like I love Kobe Bryant. He's like, there's no mistakes, it's something coming to my attention to master, basically. So
Right.
we're going over stuff. It's good repeating. The rule of thumb is look in your chart and where those degrees, we went over specific degrees, but basically where those degrees are. If you're in whole houses, your Virgo house and your Libra house. And meanwhile, Mars is in that same Libra, and it's going retrograde. It's about to go in the shadow in a couple of days. So in the next couple of days, and then a few days after that, Mercury will be literally retrograde, and Mars will be in its shadow because Mars is a much longer retrograde because of its close proximity speed to the Earth. Mercury's pretty quick. It goes around the sun in 90 days. Mars is 22 months roughly. So, but we're 12 months. So it's pretty close relatively. Anyways, so there's even more of this coming. Just try to stay focused on one thing at a time, and you have multiple stuff. Geminis are really good. And like I was saying last time, recognize that if you're not great with multiple information like a Gemini, use your best techniques or investigate some and find some for multiple inputs that you can, I'm working on studying Obsidian Notes, which is not top down with folders that you have to open and open, but it's more like a database where it's from the bottom up. You can always label it and access it through multiple tagging systems and links and whatnot. So that's one way to deal with it, or whatever. You write notes on the board, or, I'll have a phone call and then I had another phone call and I was on the computer and I have all this data. So I write it down and then hopefully I'll input it to some kind of system or write it out fresh or whatever you do, or people text themselves, call themselves, voicemail or a voice recorder, whatever works. So
Right.
there's my spiel on, oh boy, Mercury's retrograde. I can already feel it's in the shadow, and Mars is about to go in the shadow, and Mercury's going to go retrograde after that. So it's just more. And my basic theme, looking at the outer view and the outer planets, Pluto is going to be heading, it's already in orb. It's heading into Aquarius, an air sign, and this is like our training almost. It's like revisiting, and you don't have to be a master at air sign stuff. And not that I'm any master, but I got a lot of air. But as you could tell, because they taught air sign. If you're talking, you're pretty much an air sign. Anyways, or a fire. The yang sign, more extroverted. But anyways, there's another layer. Because as we get into this, there's more and more layers. But just pick and choose what you want. Don't be overwhelmed. Just go with it, and keep it light. Gemini likes to keep it light, and Libra likes balance and making it nice. So they're both kind of very pleasant energies typically.
Thank you.
That good?
So tell me
Yes.
about this particular Mercury retrograde with Mars and these other things that are going on. It seems like there's a lot of temporary,
A lot of. I think I put
a lot of
busy overlapping. BIZZY.
It's overlapping, but like things just not working, and then easy to fix. Like, and with my vehicle, I wasn't stranded. My vehicle is broken down, but it's right in front of my house.
Right.
And so, and it was in a way I could deal with it. It happened when it was easy to borrow a car, for the critical thing that needed to be done.
Right.
So it's like it's gentle, but there's still these things.
Yeah.
Just
bottom line.
Having bugs or speed bumps.
Yeah. Did I lose can I go to another screen share?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can get back to
because during Mercury retrograde, we definitely.
So Saturn's here, and we call it a grand trine if it's the same element. Typically, air sign Gemini, air sign Libra, and we're talking about this because the moon's in Libra right now, and actually Libra's on spike. It's good luck. So if anybody wants to roll the dice right now, that's a good time. 24. It's like 24 fixed star, the luckiest, biggest, brightest star. Anyways, so it's interesting though, because Mercury's only going to go up to, what was it, 8, almost 9. Mars, it's going to keep moving, and they're never really touch. So there's that problem when you don't have perfection, they call it, when they match exactly the same minute, same degree, same minute. So it's like we're working towards something, and it's like an onion. There's another layer. Mercury's going to go back into Virgo. There's going to be details. Whoops. Oh, this just resets. Okay. It's going to go back into Virgo. Meanwhile, Mars is going to go and start, it's going to go past 8, which is its shadow. Just it does the same loop, only it does it every 2 years or 22 months roughly. So it's going to go in its shadow, just like Mercury's already in its shadow. And then it's going to keep going. It'll slow down and get up to 25 here. Let's see, 10, 20. Yeah, right around here. And then it'll go retrograde. And I don't know if I gave the dates, but again, you can look those up easy. So this is the whole process on our Gemini and our cars, and our relatives, our especially our siblings, our neighborhood, what's around us. So usually it's more locally centered, although that's interesting with global, and anybody could watch this around the world. So Gemini kind of has a new meaning with the electricity and transportation of data at the speed of light. So anyways, as you can see, these planets, everything's spread out. It's kind of like we call it a splash, maybe. It's everything's spread out. So there's lots of things going on, lots of angles. And it's tricky because, Mercury's not going to catch up to Mars and not make that trine. If it did, we might have quick closure. These are more longer things that's going to take a while. And Saturn's way here up at 20, it's retrograding. That's another thing. Saturn, Capricorn ruler, 10th house, work, structure, how we make things happen, you reap what you sow. It's retrograding. So you might not be pressing on the pressure, but it's like our time. Again, it's a retrograde time. It's time to revisit. And it's almost like you have more power or more say-so in trying to get things done. Because sometimes when the pressure's on, you're like, oh, although it's positive too. But the retrograde, it's like, okay, what's the stuff I have to take care of, and set, make Saturn happy, do what it needs to do, or that's how I look at it. They're impelling us to do stuff. They're not controlling us, free will and all that. But it's like, this is a good time. Like, okay, Saturn, he's not on the gas full stream. He's retrograding, relative for our vision. It's like, okay, I have this list of to-dos. I better work it. And I've kind of got this weird trine where it's not connecting because I think we'll have to look. Mars later, maybe it will trine Saturn, so there'll be a window. But anyway, so it's a long time. And then back to our major stepping back way far theme of Pluto right now beating up the US on its Pluto return. Come spring, it's going to edge in there just barely in Aquarius, and we'll start to get a feel of what that's going to be like from now until 1944 when it leaves for good.
2044.
So when Pluto, quick review, when Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008, that's when the first hedge fund bank, they're like, oh, we don't have any money, we're full of baloney. So Pluto's like, I'm looking out for Capricorn. This has got to go. Goodbye. Or they bailed it out and they're prolonging it or whatever. But don't worry, Pluto cleans up quite well. It'll Phoenix and something new will come from it. We've been playing with cryptocurrency, and that's kind of like the Taurus is possessions and money and stuff I own, and Uranus is different technology money. So, whoops. So there goes Uranus. It's like, oh yeah, I'm there. No, I'm not there. Yeah, I'm in. And there's just a lot. And these guys are actually the planetary nodes of Mars and Mercury are at like 1819 or 1920 now. So Uranus is flirting with these guys. So it's like an extra layer of, it's like a conjunction. That's some people look at it that way if they use that technique. So Uranus surprises, not sure, spontaneous, doesn't happen, pops into my head, look for ideas that come in your head. It's on the place where Mercury and Mars from a heliocentric point, that's where their axes are. Just like the moon's nodes, their axis points with relative to whatever. So I don't want to get too far into it, but anyways, there's an extra wild card here. And it's also the North Node where we're supposed to go. So no matter how crazy it is, it might be a good new way. So it's an opening for new ways, but it's, like I said, it's a little disjointed with those planets not quite perfecting, not yet. Mercury eventually will get back in Libra and trine Saturn. Mars, I have to check that. It's when it does trine, but it'll retrograde again and it'll trine it again. So these are great. The point I want to make is with these dates and all, this is how you journal and you look at events and whatever's going on in your life that's prominent. You look at those dates and it's like, oh, this is going to be a good point, or this is a turning point. I can't take it anymore. What's happening? Here's another shifting point, another opportunity, and just, keep aware and watch that calendar. You write them down in your calendar or your date book as you're watching stuff, or type it in your digital. I'm dating myself. So that's a way to look for shifts. And if something happens, or just to be aware, because, you find the dollar on the street because you're looking down, you're open for it, or you're shopping for a new car. It's on your mind. So suddenly you see it, it's like, put in your mind what you need to see. And these are all air signs. It's all about talking about stuff. And the Taurus, which is kind of underlying also, write it down, or have something tangible you can see or hold of your goals and what you want. Always connect with that groundedly, because we got air and fire. We're all fun. We're floating around doing all kinds of wild stuff, but the emotional water and the earth are practical yin signs, and it's like, this is how we're going to make this happen. And like you're always teaching, our love energy, and then the practical making stuff happen.
Yes. And so as I'm listening to you, Shawn, I'm also thinking of the patterns, because in retrogrades we have the things come back, right? It can be relationships with people, it can be patterns in our life,
Yes.
challenges we have, and things we've worked on, we've made progress, and yet here we are. It's like, whoa, this is here again. I thought I had made more progress with this challenge in my life, and yet all of a sudden I'm really feeling it's worse than ever surfacing at this moment.
Yeah.
So with the retrograde, we come back, so we have to remember that it's here again, but it's not here again the same. I had just read this.
Yeah, it's a different sign. Everything's moving, and there's no Western pattern. Like even the sun, it's like we have leap years. It's not exact. And that's pretty exact because we're just Earth to sun, but everything else, it's very different. Yeah. So if you see a pattern repeat, it's like, I got to work on this more, revisit it. And then look back in the calendar, you could see like 22 months ago, Mars was in Libra. And it's like, what did I do then? Or what came up? If you can look that far back, if you journal or take notes in your calendar. And yeah, if a pattern repeats, it's like, I still have more to learn, because our ego's like, yeah, I took care of that, it's all good. And somebody else is like, there's more to do.
Yeah, and the onions, those blooming onions, there's so many, when you peel an onion, there's so many layers. So sometimes it's just a deeper layer, but that doesn't mean that we didn't get as far as we could working on it at a prior time. And, because we're doing spiritual work, we're evolving, we're growing, at least we hope we are. No, but we are, we do this work, we keep at it. And if we're back recognizing, oh goodness, there's chaos again. Either we have this deeper level to clear, or, and what I had read, and I'm not remembering it fully, but it was basically this idea that just because the chaos has returned, it doesn't mean that we're doing something wrong or that we're failing. We need to buckle down then and hold our commitment to our purpose, our commitment to our light, keep reinforcing our connection to our higher energy, to our soul, and just double down on that, and not give up, because the fact that the chaos is back means that our connection is getting stronger. It's like when you shine the light illuminates the darkness. So the fact that something may be back and feel more intense, it just means we need to keep shining the light stronger. We are making progress. And that's why it's kind of surfacing again. Sort of like that screaming child, the reaction, the tantrum gets worse before it gets better.
Right. Yeah, and that's another thing in our society, like, the child should be silent, not cry, old stuff, or spare the rod and spoil it, all that stuff. It's like, now it's like there's chemicals that release when you cry. It's physically a good thing, and it's just emotionally, and that's technique for dealing with anybody, whether an adult or a kid, crying or screaming. It's like, let it out. I'm a little devil's advocate, so I'll like do the opposite thing, being a cry. I'm like, let it, someone starts screaming, I'm like, let it out. What else? Let them do it all. Let them get it out. Don't take it personal. They're just talking about themselves. They don't know, and they're just screaming, but they let it out. And I always try to take it with a grain of salt, and it's like, don't take it personal, but there's clues there. It's like, if they feel that strongly, maybe there's something I should look at. And my kid, yeah, when they were screaming, crying, I'm like, let it go for it. Work those lungs, build up your strength. It makes us stronger. It doesn't kill it, makes us stronger. So I
Right.
try to flip it and make it positive, especially if it's negative. I try to, I saw some cool stuff today. I'm not going to quote them, but I can't remember it. But
Mhm.
like all this programming about guilt trips and, and these, I call them double standards. Like there's all this stuff you're supposed to do. And, they might make a public showing of like, oh, we did this and this is what you should do. They'll do it once in a ceremony. And they're in real life, they're always catching people behind the scenes. It's like, oh yeah, COVID. Oh, here we're at the party. It's like, they're not doing what we're saying, what they're told, do as I say, not as I do, that's a parent thing. So, but that's
Right.
just life, some of it's good. There's guidelines, whatever. I don't want to be judgmental. It's like we're
Yeah.
doing the best
Well,
we can. And that was a good thing you were touching on. It's like, I'm not saying you're wrong and you didn't fix it. It's like, there's no fixing. We're on the journey. When you're on a trail, you don't stop and fix the trail unless you're, that's your job. But it's like,
right.
it's just a path, and some things you revisit, some things you never see again. But Aquarius, those wavy lines you revisit. It's another thing.
Right.
You can always revisit. The Aquarius in your chart. That's what that zigzag. It equals. You can get into this. I totally get into stuff, and then I'm totally out of it, but I can come back to it.
So,
And
and
that's.
I liked what you said. I hadn't actually thought this before, but when we come back in the retrograde and we have a pattern that we've come back to,
Mhm.
there may be similar influences at play, but we are in a different astrological moment, which
Yeah.
means there's a different set of tools available to us
Oh.
on an energetic level.
So it just made me think of those. Like if you're a gamer, old school, that there's different rooms or what are those challenging things where you can go and there's clues and rooms and stuff. But if you think of it as, okay, I figured out a clue or I got through this step or this Mercury retrograde time and I worked on it and now it's over and now I'm in a new room and I might have the room might have the same issues, but it's in a different way. It's just a different level. Or, as you power up, I'm not a gamer, as you could tell, but as you go up the levels, it's like, okay, here's a room again. I'm still in survival mode. I still have to get energy. I still have to defeat this or conquer this or take out this or whatever. And it's just, it's a new room or a new time. And we talk about, that's one way to look at I call it a pizza with all the pie slices in a chart. People are like, what is that? It's a mandala to me, but it's each slice of the pie is another section or another view. And that's as the planets go around the different areas, it'll have a different style to it. We talked about that. That's one way to look at it. It's the styles. It's Libra is very much one-on-one. They read people's body language. They want to make it nice. There's conflict, but there's a lot of strategy. You can be indecisive. You want to be fair, like the scales of justice. What's fair for everybody? What's right? Talk to King Solomon, the mom and the baby thing. That's interesting. So you use wisdom. Generals have great, strong Libra for strategy because they know the other person. So that's one way to work Libra energy. And the Gemini, I've already talked. Gemini, lots of information,
Yeah,
multiple sources. Yeah.
that's great. So, on the healing end, on the energetic end,
Mhm.
they've guided us through some breathing techniques, things like that. So what I want to bring in tonight is that we can roar.
Nice.
So we can get this energy out. We can move it. We can move it with our voice, not just with a breath.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do breathe into this. So thinking
Can I back you up for 1 second?
yes.
Okay. So here's another astrology lesson. There's always parallel opposites, dualities. So in Aquarius, across from that is Leo. What does Leo do? It roars. And Gemini, the opposite is Sag. These are all the fire signs. What does Sag do? It talks, it lectures, it gets on the thing, it's the professor, it's, different languages peeking through. And then Libra, the opposite is Aries, which is, they usually speak with action. So, and yelling is an action, so anyways, so yeah, we're channeling it, which is really good to work with the polar opposite. And again, balance, and we
Nice.
have all those signs in our chart wherever you are. So this is perfect. So I was like, air, let's do a little fire, or fire.
All right. So here we go. Let's have some fire. So what we're going to do is just think about any kind of pattern that's come back right now as we're heading into this retrograde, and probably something in this last week that's starting to really surface again if it hadn't, and it could have even been here longer than a week, but you're really feeling this, whatever it is. It could be an emotional challenge. It could be a challenge going on in the physical world around you that is affecting how you feel or think. Could be anything. It could be an old someone in your life who has come back and either was brought back into your life, or just the relationship with that person is being brought to mind for some kind of healing.
Right.
So these are different levels of things. So we're going to just take a moment and just put your attention on your heart, in your heart center, and take a breath. Your eyes can be open or closed. I'm just going to breathe into the heart, just a gentle breath in, and bringing ourselves to this moment. And then just release that breath. And now as you breathe in another breath, with this breath, you're consciously connecting with your higher self, your soul, and higher light and love. Breathing in to the heart and breathe in even deeper to your whole body. And then let that breath go when you're ready. Now we're going to take a third breath, again, breathing in this higher light and love and our connection to our soul, and opening our heart. And just take a moment, feel your heart, let it expand, and then release that breath. Now, as we move into a regular breath, your eyes again can be open or closed. You're going to bring to mind something that is challenging you or bugging you or pressing in upon you, would be ways to say it. Just bring that into your thoughts. And notice too where you're feeling it in your body. It could show up all of a sudden. You might have a tightness or pressure somewhere in your body when you think about this challenge that is affecting you. So now we're going to, with that in mind, we're going to take this next breath in. Again, we're still tapped into that higher light and love, and still tapped into your connection with your soul, and opening that connection deeper. So breathe in. And if you are feeling that challenge in your body somewhere, breathe into that spot. Whatever's a comfortable breath, fully in. And then we're just going to roar and let it go. On your exhale. We're going to do another one. Breathing in, breathing into that spot, that issue or challenge or pain. And just roar in whatever way is comfortable. And let's do a third one for good measure. Things are always nice in threes. Breathing in. And notice too, sometimes it helps break up the energy. It might be easier to reach it, and then just release however you want. Breathe in, love and light, soul energy, and out. And now just a fun breath. Breathing in love and light, breathing in joy, and breathing in your soul's energy. It's here to support you. Okay, and then just release that breath and go back to normal. So
normal.
Back to normal, but a new normal.
Yeah.
I actually like that.
Yeah, it was good.
So
you should watch this and try it.
Yeah, I know. We'll
it's
do
different
more
when you're leading. Yeah.
Oh, but I still, yeah.
Good. It worked.
I'll
Awesome.
follow it. Yeah, it's feeling good. So, and I love, Shawn, that you brought, I was saying, let's roar. And then you said that the Leo energy is opposite the Aquarius energy.
Yes. Yes.
So awesome how this comes through. So we're actually wrapping up, and I did want to thank someone who wrote in to the chat that, Shawn, you were talking about escape rooms. It's called an escape
Oh, okay.
room when you go play the
Right.
games
Escape.
and do
Right.
that.
Right. Thank
Escape
you.
rooms, because I couldn't remember it either. So thank
Yeah.
you for
But
that
yeah, it's like
information.
you find the clues and you turn the lock and open the door and move to the next one. And that's life. There's more stuff, but it's more adventure and it's newer. And even if you circle back to the same room, something's changed. You have to look for new clues and new new keys, new friends or old, again, Mercury retrograde. Yeah, connecting with old friends.
Well,
Old
and
whatever.
use the, like Shawn was saying, and I had heard that, and maybe from you, Shawn, use the RE words. So reinvent it. It's not just regurgitating
Yeah,
or these negative words. You can use the Mercury retrograde energy to
very
boost it
positive.
for
Yeah.
you in a
You,
positive way.
yeah. You want to
Oh, Shawn, you
dot the
stopped.
I's, cross the T's. You want legal stuff, paper, specifics, look at it twice, have an extra thing. Did I blink? Am I back? I think it broke up. Anyways, yeah. So catch extra, be careful, but work it. Yeah. And it's like the Zen, you're living in the now. And no matter what you feel about somebody or situation, have an open child's mind of being open and let something new come in instead of saying, this is how it is, blah, blah. It's like, not that I'm not guilty of that, but
Right. Well, and when we catch ourselves is just seeing it and saying, oh, whoops, okay, I'm choosing differently now. I'm choosing to show up in this way. And oh, this is here again. Great. This means that my breakthrough will be even bigger,
exactly.
because it's here again, but my breakthrough will be even bigger if I just hold my truth, hold my path
Yeah.
of what I'm doing, and ask for help from your soul.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like, okay, soul, I need help.
Yeah.
Universe,
All these air
God,
signs.
whoever your teams are, ask
Yeah.
for help.
All these air signs. It's air's communication. Whether you're writing a note to yourself just so you can see it, sounding board off a friend, getting real advice from someone, a mentor or physician or friend or anybody, and from the mouths of babes or anywhere, anything you hear, that's some air. So work it. You get clues. Yeah.
Yes. So, and Shawn, your calendar. So you have, Shawn has this wonderful project he is working with,
Oh yeah, the
working
transit
on.
calendar.
It's a
Right.
transit calendar. And can you tell us about the transit calendar?
I'll I'll even show you. Oh no, here, light calendar. Oh, sorry. Still all thumbs here.
Thumbs are good.
Where to go? Come
So, because
on.
Shawn's calendar is, oh, here we go in the screen. So the calendar is a
Oops.
Google Calendar that allows
Here we
you
go.
to see
Can
what
you see that?
transits.
You see
There
the
we
calendar?
go.
Yeah. So yeah, there's light and heavy and yeah, transitcalendar.com, and it lists all these things, and it's very simple. There's a little click on it, get a little definition,
No, I
start.
love this. I wanted to read it again for those who are listening. So on Wednesday, August 31st at 9:36 a.m., I think, it says Venus.
Yep.
What does it say? Quin
Can I make it bigger? Venus. Yeah, that's a weird one.
Quincunx,
Quincunx, yeah.
Quincunx Neptune. So I love the detail in your descriptions.
Yeah.
Shawn, they give us advice here. Try to
Yeah.
avoid life-changing decisions as you are quite impressionable right now. Instead, watch an inspirational film or visit an art gallery.
Yeah.
So
And
this
those are
is
just very general, one technique, one way to think about it, but it's something. And then again, just like looking for astrologers, you can look up websites, Cafe Astrology and other sites. There's all kinds of definitions. Find what works for you, and they'll have longer definitions or more, more complex, or you start adding in other things, but that's actually happening tomorrow. And
Can
then
you
we have
click on the one right below, Moon enter Scorpio at 10:10 a.m., please.
oh yeah, what does that say?
Okay, so it says, contemplate the deeper things in life, avoid unnecessary conflict, tune into your intuition. So that's when the moon enters Scorpio.
Right.
And so reading these and repeating them, we'll learn.
Whoops. Sorry. Yeah. So you got
Mhm.
that. So there's another one, Mars, sextile Jupiter.
So
That's a
Mars
nice one.
sextile Jupiter, this is a
Yeah.
beneficial time for anything that requires confidence and energy. You are enterprising and enthusiastic. And that's
Yeah.
at 4:51 a.m. Thursday, September 1st. That's Pacific
Yeah.
Standard Time.
And that's looking at my, yeah, you could see up here. But the calendar, I think it adjusts to, it'll read your locale, I think, and set the time, but that's something I always check for. So we're at, with
Right.
daylight savings time, we're at Greenwich Mean Time 7. So
So the address for Shawn's calendar is transitcalendar.com.
right.
And the light version is there. They're also working on a subscription calendar that would actually be
Yeah.
based on your own birth
Yeah,
date
these are
information.
this calendar is transit, which is what's in the sky. What you're just describing is how the planets are interacting with themselves, and transit is just means motion and what they're doing. And then yeah, we have a product where it'll be your natal chart to the sky moving. Oops, I'm blowing my visual here. It'll,
And that's
it'll be
in development.
your freeze
Mhm.
frame of your natal chart as the planets move around and connect with you. So it's very personalized. And it's really cool. And it depends
Yeah.
on what your level you are. You could try it or whatever, but this calendar is free, and you can just see it's some kind of way to look up things. It's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And you're like, oh, Mars, I'm on a roll. It's Mars trying Jupiter, so that's a nice one.
Yes.
There's other stuff going on where in your chart, what happens, but to be specific, but generally things are flowing pretty good. But Jupiter could be too much. Mars could be too physical or too without thought. But hopefully, the philosophy of Jupiter you mix in with the action of the strength and energy of Mars. And but again, welcome
Yeah.
to life.
It's a
There's
fun.
yin and yang. I like yin and yang. There's good and bad everything. There's positives, negatives. You just have to work it and learn from experience how to wield the energy and work it for yourself. And yeah.
Right. Yes. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. And with this lovely information about the Mercury retrograde and other aspects going on right now. So you can find me, Valorie, at topazvisions.com. I'm also on Facebook at topazvisions.com no, facebook.com/topazvisions. Shawn is on Facebook at Shawn's Astrology. Shawn is spelled SHAWN. Shawn's Astrology on Facebook. And we're so excited to have you here with us or
Yeah.
listening on the replay. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your time with us. We just try
Yes.
to, and send in ideas. Any feedback is always welcome. I love it.
Yes. And have fun with the retrograde.
Right.
When things are happening, like look for the blessing in it. And where you can work to shift the energy.
Yeah. Research, slow, careful progress is good, but research, it's a great time. You'll find stuff easier. It's a great time to research and plan for your next time of doing a task. It's forewarned is forearmed in astrology, and doing research and figure out things, so the best costs and the best methods and people or techniques, machine, whatever. It's a great time to that stuff will just come in. You start searching and like, oh, look what I found.
Oh, and it's also coming in to remind to say, and really, really, really breathe into your heart and
Yeah.
tap into your soul energy. Just take a moment, send the light up, connect, open, and just breathe in your higher power energies to support you. And that's also, a lot of us are doing that. We're bringing in more love this way and working to shift the vibration around us. And it's awesome, bringing in more love. Thank you again. You can find us the last Tuesday of every month at 8 p.m. Pacific and the third Friday of each month at 11 a.m. Pacific. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, day, week, and month.
Play with the hands. I'm gone Italian.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.